Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's going on, YouTube? You see him. That's right. Guys, don't deceive you. Welcome to episode 16 of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is a lovely Taco Tuesday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everybody is off to a great work week, staying safe. Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes don't deceive you. As I point to my left side, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Spencer, Double Deuce, Herndon's finest. What's going on, sir?
Oh, you know I'm good, man. You know I'm good. When I'm up late, I'm good to go.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, like I said, this is episode 16. I just want to, before we get into the show, there's a couple of things I want to say up front. And the last episode, I announced that we have rebranded the name, where it's now going to be Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. All the episodes have been uploaded through Anchor via Spotify up until today's episode, of course. That episode will go on. I'll have it uploaded tomorrow. A couple things for Friday's show. We're going to recap week 1 of the newly A Sports Basketball Athletes Unlimited Basketball League. They start tomorrow. Game 1's at 8, and then game 2's at 11. It's going to be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and CBS Sports for the 11 o'clock game. As far as the rest of the episodes go, I sat down with my lovely staff, and we decided it's best to go back to season 1 and add titles to the episodes and try to do timestamps. It's not easy as I thought it would be.
A lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work to put timestamps in all the episodes. So bear with me. I ask for your patience as we go through those episodes. Yes, season 5 will end, as I stated, before we get to the Super Bowl. So we got what? We got 2 more weeks of football, and then we got the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. And then
So that's when season 5 will end. If you're enjoying the content and you like what you're seeing, consider hitting that like, comment, subscribe button. Bring your sports game. All right. So today's episode, we're going to recap the Elite 8. It was a great weekend of football. And some progress has been, there was some progress, a little substantial progress with the between Major League Baseball and the Players Association of trying to end this strike, because we're getting into pitchers and catchers are supposed to report sometime next month. So starting to cut it close. The Hall of Fame ballots were announced, and I am pretty damn happy because there's some guys that definitely did not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
And it's about and the sports writers got it right, so we'll definitely talk about that. Yep. And obviously the Washington Wizards.
Sad.
Relationship with your
children. My God.
Tonight blew a 35-point lead and coming off an embarrassing loss against the Boston Celtics.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Rest in peace, Dennis Green.
Yeah.
And then also, too, we're going to get into, obviously, Maryland basketball, men and women. Men actually beat one tonight against Illinois, and they beat Rutgers tonight.
Oh, wow.
The women played Northwestern, and they won. And they actually play – I think they actually already played Rutgers, I think it is. Yes. So – and then also, too, I got another special treat for you guys in this episode. Okora, if I said her name wrong, I do apologize. She broke the NCAA women's basketball single season game record. She dropped 61 points on the ranked number 14 Oklahoma's head. So we definitely want to talk about that. Definitely. And obviously Towson Basketball, and then the WNBA, and that's going to be it. So let's get into it. The Cincinnati Bengals went into Tennessee and defeated the Tennessee Titans 1916.
Wow.
Anthony, what's going on, sir? Where do I begin? The Tennessee Titans. Well, their offense was just honestly and truthfully just with Ryan Tannehill. I think it's time to move on. Ryan Tannehill looked like the Miami Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill. I have tried to come at his defense, and in the best way I can. They're just no answers. I mean,
what can you say?
I mean, they were 1-9 on third and fourth downs combined. The only touchdown they had in the second half was the interception by Amari Hooker. A.J. Brown was the only one that really showed a pulse. I mean, Derrick Henry's coming back. The man's got screws. Hey, Kate, good to see you. He's got screws in his foot and in his shoe, from what I understood. And I felt like he took away some of the momentum because, again, you got a guy, and shout out to Delilah Crespo. She actually kind of brought this up a few weeks ago of, Devontae Foreman should be the guy going forward. And I kind of feel like Derrick Henry took the momentum away. I don't understand why they went for 2 after Derrick Henry's touchdown. They should have just took the extra point, but analytics is just really doesn't make no sense.
You remember they got the penalty or whatever, and it moved them up a yard. Yeah, and they thought they can do it, but I think that play was kind of showing us what was to come. Yeah, because we had seen Derrick Henry get the touchdown, but on that play, if you saw it took one guy to take Derrick Henry down. We normally do not ever see that. We definitely didn't see that last year. And that was something that was a reoccurring theme, man. He kept going down with just one guy bringing him back. So
yeah, and I think he really, honestly and truthfully, wasn't 100%. I think guys have now figured a way how to tackle Derrick Henry. So hey, Delilah, good to see you. What else do I want to? Tennessee, the offense, defensively, I thought they showed up. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. He's actually the first player this season to get sacked 5 times in the first half. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think the defense showed up. The Bengals, I think, did what it had to do. I think Cincinnati's defense definitely, I think, played a big role in the win. I think more. My biggest takeaway was just Tennessee. I had Tennessee winning this game. They really were really good against Tennessee's running attack. Just a quick point. Devontae Foreman had 95 yards on 26 carries. Derrick Henry was just held to 62 yards on 20 carries. And Evan McPherson, go. So I think it's time for the Tennessee Titans to move from Ryan Tannehill. I think he's great, but I think not great. I think he's a game managing quarterback, but
glorified Carson Wentz. I mean, that's all it is. He's a glorified Carson Wentz. He's the same thing, and shout out to our guy, Dylan Walsh, who said he's just Carson Wentz that can catch, because we know he used to be a receiver. Like and look, the defense, like you said, kept them in the game. The defense was there. They did what they needed to do. But it still took a questionable interception that happened, that Burrow threw, to get them back in the game. Yeah. They finally get the touchdown to tie it up. But then, true to form, right on time. Tannehill throws in the triple coverage.
Coverage.
When you have a tight end breaking wide open underneath, you throw triple coverage, and they saved it. But in the playoffs, Delilah, you say this all the time, a win is a win. I don't care if it's by an inch or a mile, a win is a win. So shout out to the Bengals. They're moving on.
I agree. And this other person also agrees with me as well.
This is how I believe, okay? I'm from the old school. I believe this. I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it. I want winners. I want people that want to win.
The Tennessee Titans got some serious soul searching to do. I think other than Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, they really don't truly have another playmaker. I was surprised that they maintained the first seed without Derrick Henry and 3 weeks without A.J. Brown.
No, look, let me make this reference to you, because I said this on Sunday. You're a big NBA fan, so I don't remember exactly what year it is. But Gilbert Arenas was on the team. You remember that year? He gets hurt early in the year. You got Caron Butler, Antoine Jameson. They ball out, right? They ball out, get all the way to the playoffs, and on a very unselfish, passing it to each other, getting everybody involved, rebounding, defense, everything. They get into the playoffs. Gilbert Arenas comes back, and all of a sudden, the whole team goes back to Gilbert Arenas, who's chucking up 40, 50 shots a game and doing all that. And it was almost kind of similar to Tennessee, because one of the things that I thought was really dangerous about Tennessee was the fact that when Derrick Henry was out, they kept winning, because none of us saw that. I mean, I think the first game that Derrick Henry was out, Tannehill threw 4 interceptions. You know what I mean? So seeing them play and learn how to win without him. You talked about Foreman. Nichols was another one. They learned how to win without him, and then I think everybody was so hyped to get Derrick Henry back because of the 2,000 yards, and they kind of overlooked the fact that, he's still, this injury that he got in his foot used to be an injury that would take you out
for
through
the season.
Exactly. So, he wasn't going to be 100%. He didn't look 100%.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I was really surprised that they didn't utilize Foreman more.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, he's back, so let's just continue to give him the ball, and it just. Right. But with the Bengals, even I give Joe. Listen, I'm a fan of Joe Burrow. I am. Mm-hmm. They really they need to really address the offensive line. I think other than Trey Hopkins, the center, and their left tackle, there's we can't celebrate that win. My quarterback should not have gotten sacked 9 times.
There it is.
That can't happen.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I'm taking away from that game. If I'm front office, okay, we really need to address getting an offensive lineman for him. And I don't care if it's free agency, but my franchise quarterback just can't get that can't happen.
And look, you were the one who brought this up to me. I mean, let's go all the way back to, it's almost a year ago now when we were talking all this pre-draft stuff. And you had in your group, your mock draft, you had them getting Panay Sewell because that's what they needed. Now, I cannot with a straight face sit here and say that it was the wrong move to get Jamar Chase, because we've seen what he has done. But it was a calculated risk, it was a calculated gamble to sit here and go make that move, because yes, you've made it this far on the arm of Joe Burrow and the receiving of Jamar Chase, but we've seen the team they're going to play next, and it's kind of you're not going to be able to do the same thing. I'm going to just say that.
Yeah.
Or we'll see if they will or not. But yeah.
We'll see. They got an offseason to figure it out. This is the second time they've been a number 1 seed, and they've gotten bounced out. They've never gotten past the divisional round. So they definitely got some soul searching to do. Your Tennessee Titans. But for the Cincinnati Bengals advancing to the AFC Championship game.
Congratulations! Oh my God!
Wow.
And I agree with that, Katie. I think the bye week did hurt him too. I hate that. I'm not a fan of that bye week thing.
Yep.
We're going to fix that. Let's transition into the surprising defeat. The San Francisco 49ers defeated the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field.
What the hell was that? Hey, what the hell? You freaking kidding me?
I just want to make this point of order. The 49ers offensively did not get a touchdown, but the special team shot to Mr. Robbie Gould, former Chicago Bear.
The Bears.
They should have had a touchdown with Mr. Aaron Jones. It was a 75-yard pass because Mr. Jimmy Ward blown the coverage, and Aaron Jones shot to Dylan Walsh. He should not have cut in. He should have just kept running.
Right.
Green Bay's special teams, particularly their punting unit, and Mason. Well, I'm not going to say Mason Crosby because Mason Crosby still to me he's a good kicker. I mean that's 10. That's 7, 10. That's 10 points that Green Bay did that left on the field. I mean, we could talk about San Francisco. I mean, Aaron Rodgers in that offense. Aaron Rodgers didn't have a touchdown. I get it. I was the only lady to pick the 49ers on the show. Yes. Shout to Katie Alverson. Let's talk football. Ladies take over. She did call it. The San Francisco 49ers would beat the Green Bay Packers. Sean,
we didn't expect it. I mean, look, Katie, yes, you absolutely did call it, but that it far be it for me to say that I fully expected this. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, for all intents and purposes, is on his way to his 4th NFL MVP, but my mama told me that you reap what you sow. We saw all the nonsense that happened in the offseason. We saw the immunized and the turf toe and the lying and this and that. Bro, sometimes that just comes back and bites you right where the sun don't shine, bro. That's just what it is sometimes.
Yep. I agree. And the Green Bay Packers got their work cut up for them. They're like, according to them, I use my trusted source Spot Track, almost like negative $45 million in the hole. So they got some serious decisions to make. You're going to have to see some guys. It's not just really them. I mean, really across the league. There's going to be some guys who need to take a pay cut, restructure the deal, or they're going to be cap casualties. And Aaron Rodgers is going to have to be one of them. He's kind of said, you had the clip. I'm going to take some time to think about it. Didn't want to be part of a rebuild. I agree, Katie. Aaron Rodgers didn't play like he wanted to win that game. He lacked any emotion. I definitely agree. So for you, Mr. Discount Double Check. I also have another person wanted me to say this as well. Let me know how you felt about this as well, sir.
Well, what happened was that second game, we got our ass kicked. Or the second half, we just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. The second half, we sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second half. That's what it boiled down to. It was a horse performance in the second half. I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed. Coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second half. It sucked. It stunk.
Wow. Yes, I agree. Wow. Great choice.
Shout out to the great Jim Moore, man. But no, I'm disappointed. I just that they just had a great regular season. Mm-hmm. I think the Green Bay Packers are a good example of that. They're just a great regular season team, but come playoff time, they just look different. And again, and this is just me. Thank you, Delilah. I appreciate that. The game slows down in the playoffs. You need to utilize all three sides of the football: running the football, passing, special teams, and defense. Green Bay's defense, kept them in the game. I just thought when they gave up that first down to Mr. Deebo Samuel, who limped off the field, I think also too because it was just getting cold. I thought that was to me that was the game. Aaron Rodgers getting sacked 5 times, but hey, we got to give San Francisco 49ers some love. Yeah. Don't say that out loud.
You also got Aaron Rodgers. You can't just sit here and throw it to 2 people. You got Devontae Adams. Obviously, that's your main guy with his 9 catches and just under 100 yards, and then Aaron Jones with 9 receptions, $129, and that's in maybe one other guy. That's it. Yeah. You really? Come on now.
I was looking for Adam Lazard, Scantling,
where were
tight
they?
end, Runyon, Cobb.
None of them. All of them are absent. And there's only so much I think you can give to the 49ers defense because Bosa was back, Warner came back, and they played solid, no doubt. I'm not taking anything away from them.
Definitely agree, Kate. Was not a bad man at all.
No, not in the playoffs.
Nah, no. So shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to the NFC Championship game. They got a couple guys that went down with injuries. Mr. Silverback Trick Williams had played through an ankle injury. George Kittle limped off the field, and Deebo limped off the field. I think it was the weather. Personally,
it was frigid for Kittle. I think that's what it was. That weather.
Yeah, but for the Green Bay Packers,
this is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Shout out to Herm Edwards. Let's move on to the the first Sunday game, which was actually at first was looking very one-sided. Then Mr. Dimple Chin himself, shout out to Kate Iverson, her Tampa Bay Buccaneers almost pulled a comeback. The final score was 30-27.
Relationship with your
children. My God.
I really wanted Mr. Dimple Chin to win. I really did. Let's
why did you want him to win, Nate?
Because my agenda.
Tell the people.
My agenda.
Tell the people.
I want to say this for the record. I think Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. I just feel like they did Jared Goff dirty. I think it was more to me Kate. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Alverson. I said Iverson, didn't I? Alverson. I apologize, Kate.
Is she married? I was like, she married to AI.
But no, I just feel like between McVay and Jared and Goff, I think there was a disconnect. I think McVay wanted somebody he could push.
Yeah.
He could control. I think Jared Goff. Remember, Jared Goff, ladies and gentlemen, was a Jeff Fisher pick, not a Sean McVay pick.
Very true.
That's what people forget. Jared Goff was on some of the mediocre teams before they moved to LA.
Mm-hmm.
When they got better, yeah, I mean, Jared Goff was a 2-time Pro Bowl. We're not going to ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I just feel like I'm going to invest the farm in a guy. I get the whole thing about Detroit. I understand, besides Megatron and maybe
don't say Pettigrew.
Reggie
Don't say
Bush.
Pettigrew. I was going to say, don't say Pettigrew.
T.J. Hawkinson. I get it. He didn't have weapons, but I don't know if he. I'm not going to make the assumption. To me, I don't know if he really went to management. So I need help, but I just feel like he has to be he is the key to their success. Right. He's played well. He's had his moments this season, like those last 4 games. I think he threw like 8 interceptions. I want people to understand. I don't hate the guy. I think he's great, but I'm not going to sit there and act like, oh, the trade, because if they lose in the NFC Championship game, it's championship or bust, regardless of who they were going to get. Because I mean, you got Von Miller, Ramsey, Donald, all of them. This is not a dynasty for like the next 5 years. This is a dynasty that's going to last 2-3 years.
And if you get to 2 or 3 championship games, maybe. I mean, I think this game was a tale of 2 halves. I think the first half was the Matt Stafford that is excited. He had all the toys. He has the Cooper Kupp. He has Akers back, Sony Michel. He has all these guys, all these weapons, and it showed. Going into the third quarter, they end up getting up 27-3. But then you turn to the Detroit Matt Stafford, where it's kind of like you can't do anything until the very end.
Yeah,
the very end,
which is weird to me. I don't understand what that is, what that's all about.
Matt Stafford, he's a baller, but he sometimes falls into those old patterns. This is where I think Detroit played a factor, because there's a lot of stuff I believe that you pick up. When you're in a bad situation, you're a bad job, bad relationship, you pick up some bad traits, some bad habits, right? And I think that's what happened, because, honestly, he could be a daggone game manager with that talent.
I agree.
What I mean? He doesn't have to do much. So to see him throwing these 3 interception games and things like that, you don't have to do that. And I'm telling you, coming into this game this week, you pull that with somebody that knows you, they're going to expose you.
They're going to expose you. I agree. Definitely. Yeah. Look, Kate, I'm sorry. Again, I was really like, when Fournette scored that touchdown, I'm like, okay, they're going to blow it. They're going to blow it. And then you just had to blow the coverage against my fantasy pick, Cooper Kupp.
But look, why even in that play, why do you run a blitz with your slot corner? Why do you run a blitz on you? Why are you not double covering Cooper Kupp? He went right up the field on him.
Yeah.
That
was bad.
That was upsetting.
That's one thing I don't understand. I don't know if that's like a cover 0 blitz. It just was weird to me, the way that was drawn, because I just said they're going to pass it, and I guarantee it's going to go to Cooper Kupp's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And sure
enough, to him before.
Yeah. I got to give the Rams defense their credit. That offensive line did a horrible job in my eyes, protecting Tom Brady. I mean, forced to make bad throws. Yes, that should have been a flag. I don't agree with the unsportsmanlike, because I mean, I've seen Tom Brady trash talk, and Tom Brady's when they try to get in someone's skin, but that should have been called with the helmet, bumping helmet to helmet, because he busted his lip. But
I'm not going to give it to Tom, and the reason I'm not going to give it to Tom, because Tom already proved that he's the GOAT, A, and when he came back down 27-3, but B, Tom came out. I don't know if you remember, Nathan. Tom came out that week and had a comment that basically said, "Yeah, I know I probably should be getting some of these calls for
he did say that,
stuff. And I think that kind of almost taunted the refs, because he went at McCauley, and he was like that, and McCauley said, "Oh, that's what you're gonna do? Flag, got it." You know what I mean? I think that was almost a, we're gonna make an example
of it.
Right, because it was weird because that he came out with it and was so blatant about it before the game, and then it happened. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But Katie, he's still the GOAT. He's still great. We love him. Okay. Well, love is strong. Love is a strong word. I don't know if I love him. I'll love him if he leaves because I need to win. Or he comes to Washington. Does that make me crazy?
Hey, this doesn't make it crazy, but this is close enough.
Guaranteed.
Come on, Tom. Come on.
I will say this. Well, I want to piggyback on a couple points about the game, and I'm going to get into Tom Brady. Now, this is not like a slight on Tom, but again, they didn't have their tackle Tristan.
Yep.
I thought that definitely played. I think that definitely made a big difference because they had Wells. I think that was his name.
Yeah.
I think I looked at his Madden overall is piss poor.
Terrible.
And again, like the Bucks defense, like I feel like I think they just were not prepared and didn't make the adjustments until late in the game.
Right.
They when it mattered, they stepped up for Brady. I just think the all-out blitz was just a bad call. But I mean, it's one of those you got to take a chance and walk out on faith calls, and didn't happen. But I will say this: that was the Rams almost blew that game. The defense did. Yeah. I will say that. Now, fun fact: I definitely had the statistic. They've made Tom Brady throw 24 incompletions and had a passer rating of 72.2, and was below 60% for most of the passing rate for the game. That was interesting.
Yeah.
But really quick, I heard all the rumors. I read what I heard about. He talked about is he leaving? I think of it like a soap opera. He's leaving us on a cliffhanger. I think he's going to come back one more year.
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be better than the aforementioned Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to dangle it, but I think Tom. I think Tom's going to either be like yes or no.
Yeah, my only concern with Tampa, they got some brothers they can't keep. Right. I mean, they're going to take the veteran minimum, or they're going to be some cap casualties, like Ndamukong Suh, for example, JPP.
Yeah.
Like, and on top of that, Chris Godwin's going to look for some money. Fournette, some brothers, and it's tough. It's tough to keep a championship team. I know how that feels twice. Elvis Gerback.
Wow, somebody's bitter.
$30 million for 5 years.
Oh,
this was at that time.
Wow.
Oh my Lord!
If you stretch it out, what is that? $6 million a year? That's Gerback is.
But he was mediocre. I mean, he didn't.
Yeah. I mean, 6. Yeah. I mean, it's not the contract they gave Flacco. That was just ridiculous. That
messed us up. And then also too, with then Ray Rice also with his little off the field thing.
That's a shame.
That definitely hurt the pockets. So, but regardless, look, Tom Brady. I don't do that whole greatest of all time thing. I do greatest of each generation because each generation, each player, whether it's quarterback, running back, whatever, has had their impact on the game. And Tom Brady has definitely left his mark. I definitely think for this generation, for this era of football, Breeze, Manning, Tom Brady, Big Ben, those guys.
Could you give him the most accomplished of all time? I mean, having all the passing records, having the most Super Bowls, most MVPs, that type. I mean,
I can say most accomplished. Yes.
I'm with you. I don't think he lasts 2 years in the 80s and the 70s and all that stuff. I don't think he can dance in that. And that's no slight to him. I'm just saying, just like LeBron has benefited from the rule changes and how it's less rugged. I think he's benefited. Katie, I know 7 rings. We know it. But I think he's.
Don't get me wrong. Those 7 rings. I mean, probably the one where they deflated balls.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding, Kate. I'm kidding. No, but he's most accomplished. I will agree. I will agree with that. Most accomplished. Because I ain't gonna lie, on some of them early Maddens, I actually had him on the Ravens.
Oh yeah. Who didn't? I put him on Washington, but then I got to a point where I was like, this is just too unrealistic.
It's too
Tom's
unrealistic.
never coming. He's never coming to us.
Yeah, unrealistic.
Please, Tom. Please. If I wish upon a star.
Let's transition into arguably the best Sunday night football game I ever saw in my 27 years of existence. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. The final score was 42-36.
I love that clip.
Really quick. Look, hey, Kate, listen. Kyle Trask has definitely learned behind Tom Brady. I think y'all got a quarterback for the future. Trust me on that. I think Kyle Trask is going to be good.
I wonder how many people stay, though, because like you said, people are going to have to take less money, and it's easy to take less money if Tom Brady's my starting quarterback. If Tom Brady is not there, then I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to be like, yeah, I'll take less money to play with Kyle Trask or Blaine Gabbert if they mysteriously sign him back. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with that. That's a good point.
I love Trask. I mean, I definitely want to see Trask play, and I completely agree that he, when you're around that kind of greatness, you're bound to get some of it rubbed off on you. You know what I mean?
And also, too, you got a quarterback guru and Bruce Arians.
Exactly. And,
we've already seen his track record. Like, he even made Kelly Holcomb one year look like a Pro Bowl when he was in Cleveland. So
right. But, hey, just don't make him mad.
Yeah, or he might take your head off.
He might come, knock you out.
Tom will take less money to keep the game together. I agree.
I hope so. And for the game, I hope so, because we're all like, I still remember Joe Montana playing. You know what I mean? And it even though it's fading away now, I still remember it and I appreciate it. Tom, love it or hate it, we are living through history right now, and I do think we need to appreciate that. From an overall standpoint, from a competitive, I want my team to win standpoint, Tom, I need you to go or join Washington. One of the two. I will be at the airport with the red tape with the whole 9 bringing you in. I will do that. I will roll out the red carpet, Tom.
I do have one question. For you. We're going to recap the game. Do you feel like the 49ers did Joe Montana dirty by trading him to Kansas City?
I think it was a situation similar to the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation where you have, and obviously hindsight's 2020, where you had a Hall of Famer behind him. But not everybody was sold on Steve Young, but Steve Young really badly wanted to play. And Joe, to his credit, for every great thing that Joe Montana did, he couldn't stay on the field sometimes. There would be years where he would get knocked out and be done for the season. And, when he got knocked out in that championship game against the Giants, he was out all of 91. That was one of the reasons, in my opinion, that Washington won the Super Bowl that year, because we didn't have to go through San Francisco, who we had lost to in 1990 with Joe Montana in the divisional round. Right. Steve Young came in, took over, and personally, I do think that there was a little bit of shade because of the fact that, like, Steve Young was like, well, hey, I took over. This is my team. And he eventually got him to the Super Bowl. But, yeah, no, I definitely think they needed to keep Joe Montana. I mean, he was the greatest, in my opinion. Sorry.
No. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree. You can make the same case for, like, maybe – yeah, I know Joe Montana's the only one that comes to mind. That you trade a quarterback that great, that good, who's gotten you to that level of success.
Right.
And Joe Montana's the only one I can think of. Really quick, Delilah said it's going to take a minute for Creevies to tie even past me Taylor's records.
If it happens,
I'm gonna hold that point until after.
Okay.
After this game. So, my score was close. I predicted that it was going to be 45-44. It was combined. I said there would be 10 touchdowns in this game, and they combined for 8 touchdowns in this game. My dad loved Bradshaw as far as QBs. Shout out to Terry Bradshaw. I like that.
I liked it then.
Let's keep it real. I want to start with Mr. Josh Allen. Josh Allen needs to be in the 99 club for Madden next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Josh Allen. Look, I've been on the record, and I will continue to say it. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen were the best 2 quarterbacks to come out their class. Then Baker, then Sam Darnold, and then Josh Rosen.
Josh, is he still in the league?
I think he's with the Cardinals.
But league day.
Look, the biggest thing to me to beat Kansas City, we could go toe-to-toe with them for the whole 60 minutes you want to. But if you don't put the nail in the coffin early, and shout out to Kate again. She said, yep, she was the only one that picked the Chiefs too, because I said the Bills. Buffalo, the only player and that really looked like he had a pulse other than Josh Allen was Mr. Gabriel Davis, who had 201 yards and 4 touchdowns.
He had 2 touchdowns in under 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And the one was the go-ahead touchdown to take the lead.
13 seconds.
I also want to point out that Josh Allen's number 1 wide receiver had 7 yards the whole game.
Yeah.
So when are we going to say something about it? You know what? I'm going to walk away. I'll be right back because I'm scared I'm going to say something that might get me in trouble because I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
That's not how University of Maryland should be representing. That he made us look bad out there. Come on, Stephon. 7 yards. Are you kidding me?
It is Maryland. It is Maryland. It's not like it's a prestigious North Carolina.
Okay, we're going to remove Sean from the show. I don't know what happened to Sean's screen. I think he has technical difficulties.
Hey, real quick. Anthony just sent this to me. I don't know if you can see it. The massive piece of Magic shirt.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Definitely hit up Anthony for that, guys.
For sure. Shout out to Anthony Handy. But let's Josh Allen, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, going up until after this Sunday. He's legit. But we could talk about changing the overtime rules. Well, if this would have happened or if that would have happened, I have another clip that kills that noise.
Could have, would have, should have is the difference of what I'm talking about. The good teams don't come in and say could have. They get it done. All right? It's that simple. I'm tired of saying could have, should have, would have. That's why we ain't good enough yet. Because we're saying could have and they ain't.
There it is.
When it counted the most, and I was surprised. I was very disappointed in their defense. I get it. Not having Tre'Davious White to me definitely hurt. Josh Allen's the man. He's a massive piece of magic. I like it.
Today's show, I love you.
But third, you get first and foremost. Okay, I was like 14-14, and you hit me up. You're like, okay, like your score prediction is going to come true. But
I thought it was
the Kansas City Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what an offense. That's immaculate football. Like again, let's Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Especially the go-ahead touchdown, Tyreek Reed through the deuces. I think that was. I wouldn't say that was. I can't think who the linebacker was, and he got away with Milano. That's who it was. Yeah. He got away with that too.
Right, I thought that was a penalty.
They didn't call it.
Yeah, and if you look at somebody showed me a still shot of it, he did the deuces when Milano was like ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's like, I already know what's about to happen.
And then also to Travis Kelce, man, I can't say nothing about the greatness of Travis Kelce. And I told y'all that McKinnon and Gore, since Edwards Hilaire was not there, look for them to have a big game, and they did. But the Bills defense, when it counts, I don't know what Leslie Frazier was doing. I prevent defense, ladies and gentlemen, does not work. I used to be a believer that it could, but it doesn't prevent anything. The fact that on that last 13 seconds is all that Kansas City Chiefs offense needed to tie the game up. Now Harrison Butker missed a field goal, and he made up for 2 clutch field goals. 13 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, questionable when you squib the go-ahead touchdown. You should have squib kicked it. That takes about 5 to 6 seconds off the clock. Right. And then number 2, you didn't double Hill or Kelce because you knew that's what he was going to go to. And on top of that, we can talk about we need to change the overtime rules and different things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how you prevent it from going to overtime? Play defense. Yep. We had basketball players on Twitter, men and women, talking about that rule is garbage. They need to change it. No, they don't. Now, if Kansas City had not scored that possession, Buffalo would have got the ball back.
Right. And even if they held it to a field goal, Buffalo gets the ball back.
Exactly.
So you got to do something. And see, the thing is, it's one thing if it was just in overtime that they did it, but like you alluded to, 13 seconds. We know how short 13 seconds is, Dallas Cowboys. Y'all can't do nothing in 14 seconds. Sorry about that.
That's what helped. Just kidding.
Yeah. But, you have 13 seconds. And he went, 40 some odd yards, 50 yards down the field? And even on the second play that they hit Kelce, Kelce apparently, he came out of the huddle and he was like, yo, I'm doing my own thing. Yep. And then you hear at the line, Patrick Mahomes is like, do it. And he runs up the field, and y'all can't guard this man. There's 2 people you need to focus on in crunch time. Kelce and Tyreek Hill. How did both of them do their thing, man?
And that's on Buffalo. That's on Buffalo. And I think because the game, it was such a back and forth game. I think emotions took over. But ladies and gentlemen, you gotta play defense. Also too, let's keep in mind, what was it? Help me out, Sean. 2019, same thing. Patrick Mahomes didn't touch the ball in overtime. Exactly. What's the difference?
Exactly.
I saw the ball, and on top of that, I saw the Baltimore Ravens when we played the Tennessee Titans last year here at home, and we didn't score, and Derrick Henry and the Titans won. So you
gotta play D.
You gotta play defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen. Can't stress that enough. Defense wins championships. If you're Josh Allen, I ain't gonna lie. I would have moved some furniture in there personally because all that for practically nothing. But Josh Allen is the truth. And unfortunately, I cannot throw dirt on that man's name. He balled out. He was ready to play. I'm disappointed. I was really disappointed. I was looking for Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox. That running game with Singletary and Zach Moss, they're probably going to revamp that.
Josh Allen had 68 yards on the ground himself. You know what I mean? Come on now.
It was crazy. It's just crazy. And also, too, I really want to real quick. Kelce is one of the most underrated tight ends in the league. You don't hear enough about him. Sean, what would you say to that?
I don't doubt.
Oh, you're talking media in the media. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They need to say more about him. Shout out to him. Shout out to his mom. who was going to see last week at the Eagles
Good
game.
to see,
and then
Jason and Travis. Yeah, that's
yeah.
nice.
So I mean, shout out to that. Honestly, but you absolutely right. Like at the end of the day, this is what actually makes me like and respect Josh Allen more. And this should kill any noise about the overtime rule. Josh Allen said in the press conference, he said if the roles were reversed, I would be celebrating.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? Like you play, go to your clip. You play to win the game. And if your defense shows up, you then have a shot at winning the game. Period. I'm sorry, man. You got to continue to play all the way to the end. And if you do not, if you take a little step, and especially if you give a little bit to somebody like the Chiefs, we saw what Tom Brady almost did to the Rams. You got to continue to play for the full game. And if you don't, you're going to get beat, especially in the playoffs.
Simple as that. Simple as that. But I definitely know this is how Leslie Frazier is feeling in the locker room after the game.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Delilah, you're exactly right. We are the media. And I love that because we're changing the narrative. We are part of changing this whole narrative.
We're definitely part of it. Definitely
Good
part
call,
of it.
Delilah.
Definitely. Shout out to you, Delilah. Appreciate it. Let's transition to NFL news. Probably the most surprising news today was Mr. Sean McDermott. Sean Payton.
McDermott's leaving? What?
He is stepping down as the Saints head coach after 15 years. Let me say this. I think ever since the miracle catch in the dome, I don't think the Saints have been the same team. I think when you lose your franchise quarterback and Drew Brees, you know, unfortunately, let's just cut with this. I ain't gonna lie. Some of those games with Drew Brees, it was ugly to watch. I mean, the man had busted ribs and different things like that. Now you don't have, you didn't have Michael Thomas, and I'm still not with that about how he handled the whole situation. And I kind of feel like, you know, Keyshawn. I think real quick, he and Keyshawn Johnson are related. And I think Keyshawn was kind of like, well, he can do whatever he wants. Like, that's none of y'all business. But okay. But this year, the Saints had something to be proud of. Even though they didn't make the playoffs, the defense to me was still respected.
Very good.
They still had Alvin Kamara. They were one game from going to making the playoffs. I think that's something to hang your heads on.
With Winston being out.
And Taysom Hill also too out as well.
Right.
Now the New Orleans Saints, they got their work cut out for them because they got three guys making over $20 million. And one of them being Michael Thomas, Cam Jordan. They really gonna have to figure some things out because I just don't. And that they're like negative 75 in the hole. So either they're going to restructure or some guys want to go. And unfortunately, with the salary cap going up, it still didn't help the Saints. So I feel like personally, I think Sean Payton, I think he said, look, for the 15 years, I got you guys a championship. We were a fortunate record within the NFC South, but it's time I move on. And you know, I look, whoever the next coach for the Saints is going to be, they got an all-pro tight end, running back. They got a well-rounded defense. They're going to figure some things out.
Yeah.
So
I think it was. Honestly, I think you hit the nail on the head. And then I also think that, you know, a couple other things come because I completely forgot about the Michael Thomas situation. But when you have, you know, you go to the Super Bowl and you have such an emotional year with Katrina and bringing them back and everything happening, you restore the Superdome, you get to the championship, and then you have back-to-back years where you get just so close, and then to lose on the Minnesota Miracle to lose on probably the worst non-call in NFL history with that interference that they didn't call. Like, for you to lose right at the cusp 2 years in a row, it's like, oh my goodness, how much more can you handle? Then you have, Breeze couldn't play a full season. You know what I mean? And you have to play with these backups. Teddy Bridgewater 1 year, Taysom, Winston. You have to play with these guys. And then I think what was the cherry on top is that last year your stud leaves. And who comes into your division? None other than Tom Brady. So it's kind of like, all right, it was one thing when I had my guy because they swept. They swept Tampa Bay in the regular season, but couldn't beat them in the playoffs. But this year, I think it was like Winston went down. Kamara was hurt for a while. Yeah. Thomas was out. You know what I mean? The defense did everything in their power, but if you don't know who's going to be quarterback from week to week,
that's a problem. And then again, also too, and I feel like also too, it could have been a disconnect between management and him because he probably is. I mean, other than Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, they don't have another playmaker on the other side of Michael Thomas. And their tight end, Callaway, he was good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but they need more. Yeah. So Kate says she doesn't see him coaching again. I see him being a candidate for either the 49ers, the Las Vegas Raiders, or the Chicago Bears.
Guaranteed.
Now, he's still under contract with the Saints, I believe, either 1 or 2 more years. So they would have to, I believe, like buy him out. Or something to that extension. But yeah. I mean, and another thing I heard is that, he's such a great X's and O's guy. Colin Cowherd was saying this. He would be a great asset to the booth. If he was to come into the booth and be, maybe a commentator or an analyst or something like that.
I'm not mad at that. My only
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
My only issue with that is I hate when guys go into the booth, whether it's any sport, and then like two, maybe like not a season or 2 later, they got hired as a head coach. Like Jim Moore was an analyst, and he got hired by the Colts. I mean, we'll see. He said he tweeted today he doesn't see himself coaching in 2022. And I'm not sure also too. I know he had COVID too. So I'm not sure mentally, maybe he just needs to just take a step away from the game for a little bit, get himself right as well. So who knows? But I want to see him. I want to see him back because Sean Payton's a good coach. He definitely knows his X's and O's. So we'll see. The NFL has been sued by the by the Chargers about they violated the NFL relocation policies when the owners approved the move from San Diego to Los Angeles. The lawsuit was filed by a former San Diego state attorney and San Diego chief deputy city attorney on behalf of the residents of San Diego. Pretty much the article that I read, it was basically them taking millions of dollars in taxpayers' money, particularly trying to keep the team in San Diego. And again, it sucks. I mean, we've seen that in all sports. With the Supersonics left Seattle to go to Oklahoma City because the owner's like, "Oh, y'all I want to get a new stadium," and that sucked. And I mean, let's be honest. Ever since they left San Diego, they really they're kind of getting there, but they're still
Herbert helped, but still, you're right.
They need some more. And then what else? Antonio Brown. I saw this on my phone. I want to make sure I have this right. According to some documentary, where is it? He's suing the Bucks. What? Hold on. I'm going to make sure I read that right. Yes, he says he will pursue a lawsuit against the Buccaneers over his release.
Oh my goodness!
So,
come on, man.
He was on the Real Sprites with Mr. Bryant Gumbel, and he will pursue money for ankle surgery and money that he feel like he's owed to by the collective bargaining agreement. Which also brings me to my next point. He tweeted that he was on a podcast with Chad Johnson and Brandon Marshall. And Brandon Marshall asked, "You played with the GOAT, now who do you want to play with?" And AB's response was Action Jackson. Action Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, is Lamar Jackson. Then Antonio Brown has a picture of himself screenshotted with number 84 in black and purple.
Let's go, baby. Come on,
this is how I believe, okay? I'm from the old school. I believe this. I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else.
Yep.
That's not funny, man.
He ain't coming here. I tell you that much. We got too much going on. He can't come to Washington. You could have him. Look. All right. Let's being football people. You cannot. This is like a TO situation. You cannot underestimate. He is one of the top 10, if not top 5, wide receivers. If he's healthy and if he's playing a full season, obviously all that's predicated on if he's happy or not. Because if we've seen, even when he's in a heavenly situation, he's still apparently not happy. But if he's happy, this guy can be an X factor. You talk about a number 1 receiver, this guy could be that. Unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of other mess that comes along with him. Right? Like Katie said, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Like yeah. It would set you guys back. It would set you guys back. I wouldn't want it to happen, but I do think that he's going to play somewhere. And then, I mean, part of me, if it was Madden, where I don't have to worry about the off the field issues, yes, I would definitely make that trade, and I would definitely bring AB on, and it would be great. And Lamar Jackson would be the leading rusher in the NFL, and he'd be the leading passer in the NFL, and he'd be the NFL MVP like that. But you don't want that headache, man. And I don't think Harbaugh is going to take that headache.
And for people, and this is just how I feel. Harbaugh is also a no-nonsense guy.
Right.
Okay? Let's keep it real, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm a Raven fan. Ever since the Ray Rice incident, Baltimore is scared. Not that scared, but they're really staunch on on guys that have off the field stuff. Baltimore won't touch them.
Mm-mm.
That's a fact. Now, people have been saying for years now, they need to harper back on killing some of those narratives and take a chance. Like, I think with Antonio Brown, as Sean Zay said, Hall of Fame talent. But we could talk about the perfect hit, or when he was in the gym, that thing hit his head. Oakland, playing with Tom Brady not once but twice.
Mm.
And then I'm not comfortable taking a chance on a guy that no matter where he goes, he's never satisfied. Something's always, if it's not my way, this is what I'm going to do to get off your team.
Right.
And also, too, really quick, Delilah also said, because they're sensible. Let's keep it, too. Ravens flock, they got a lot of women fans. Mm-hmm. Could you just really quick with Ray Rice, could you imagine if the Ravens just swept it on the rug? No, right. That's all hell's breaking loose. Mm-hmm. But my question is, okay, if I'm Eric DaCosta and I say, okay, we're going to sign, we'll sign you. and he pulls what he pulled in Tampa, because we could talk about an injury or whatnot. Two guys vouch for him, and I'm going to go to the same two people, Lamar and his cousin, Hollywood Brown, and say, please give me one good reason why I should not cut him.
And I'll give you that. T.O., who took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, and we cannot overlook the fact that AB was part of the catalyst that brought a Super Bowl to Tampa Bay. He caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl last year.
I don't know. I agree.
I mean, I completely. I'm playing devil's advocate just to, for people to see the other side. I personally 100% agree with you, and I think that you don't do that, because you guys, I believe, are on the cusp. If you get you guys back healthy and you start solidifying, if you guys go and you're on and focus on the defense like Dallas did in the draft last year, if you guys do that and get your guys back and get Bateman a full year, Marquise Brown, Andrews, keep him healthy, and then get your. I mean, let's not, forget that all of your players were out this year except for Lamar, and Lamar too. You know what I mean? And you almost were in the playoffs. I mean, you came a couple of weeks out, right? So,
and I think that's the thing too. And it's real funny to really see some of these, those in the flock that are fans, saying, if we sign him, he's the answer to the problems. No. Ladies and gentlemen, now, ladies and gentlemen, really quick, Sean Spencer, shout to Sean. He's gotten on me the past couple years up until this year. He's like, how many more years do you keep saying Lamar needs talent? Hollywood Brown got over 1,000 yards receiving. Mark Andrews got over 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore, I like Sammy Watkins, but just injuries. Yeah. Personally, I think they could look at it. They could move on from Sammy, find somebody in the draft.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would take a look at that the kid from Alabama.
Jameson Williams,
because I think he's going to fall. I think he's going to fall in the draft, but they got to retool this offensive line because you definitely going to see. Because this will be a video for the NFL offseason priorities. I'm gonna try to get Sean Spencer, Nick Rosario on the show with me, because when we get to the Ravens, I'm going off.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need everything.
We need everything but the kitchen sink. But no, but let me say this. I would not be opposed, but I have concerns.
Gotcha.
And we're gonna need to sit in the semicircle. Kumbaya, my lord.
Round of applause.
Well, something. Because I hate for the Ravens to have such a great year, and then it's taken away, and then he becomes a distraction.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, to make even more about Antonio Brown, he claims that they still owe him some money. They said that the Buccaneers tried to pay him $200,000 to go seek help. Yes. Now the overtime rule. Me and Shawnee discussed that. Have you seen the recent videos with Patrick Mahomes' wife and his brother?
Yes.
The league needs to address that.
I'm so done with him, man.
I thought his wife was a little excessive with throwing the champagne from the booth and spraying on the fans. I thought that was a little excessive.
Yeah.
What else is happening?
Necessary. It's just not necessary.
That's what happens when you have money and privilege. You get away with it.
Basically.
So the Super Bowl. What is this? Help me. This is
56.
56.
Yep. The amount of points that Dallas scored on me. Yes, I remember.
Fans were so mad, and it was unnecessary. Like,
it really wasn't. Yeah.
I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, we get it. You're happy they won, but man, you getting my hair.
Yeah, and let's not even get started on that brother.
Yeah,
I know. Desecrated the 21.
And then we'll sit there and say, "Oh, I didn't know that area was gated off." I'm sorry, Sean. Let me play that clip real quick.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
Talk about, I didn't know the area was gated off. Yeah, you knew.
Bull. Yeah.
You knew. The officiating crew for Super Bowl 46 has been announced. Referee Ron Torbert, umpire Brian Neal, down judge Derek Bowers, line judge Carl Johnson, excuse me. Field judge Rick Patterson, side judge Keith Washington, back judge Scott Halverson, and replay official Roddy Ames. Out of these eight, Bowers, Johnson, Halvers, and Patterson have been in the Super Bowl and multiple Super Bowls as well. So nice to have. Could be nice to have a woman in there as a referee, as a judge, but I'm sure that'll change. She and Kelly Stafford are the worst.
Yeah, I agree. Did you see what Kelly Stafford said? She tried to come after Ndamukong Suh. I'm like, Kelly Stafford, just stop. Stop. Like, come on.
That's sad,
Get out
man.
of here. I was like, you right, King.
Oh, my gosh.
You right.
Falcons tight end Lee Smith retiring after 11 years. He said he wants to become a youth mentor for young kids. I respect that. My best wish endeavors for you and your family. Yeah. Tom Brady, you already talked about him hinting at the future. What else happened?
Washington, new name next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. I'm scared.
Yeah. Red Wolves, Red Hogs, Admirals, Commanders, dummies. I don't care at this point. Just give us something. Let me wear it and just keep moving. All right. Can we get Dan Snyder out of it? Can we get a new owner instead of a new name?
Yeah, I would love to see that. What else? Let's see, really quick. The draft that's starting to come up, so we'll see what that's going to look like.
Where are you guys looking? What do you think you guys are going to address?
We kind of need to address everything. Harbaugh might be poaching the DC to get his brother back.
He gave his brother. Oh wow!
I ain't mad at that. Well, with the 14th pick, we got 10 picks, so I do expect DeCosta to make some moves. As great as he is, I mean, as a GM, as smart as he is, because he definitely knows what he has to do. He addressed the rushing defense. Now he needs to address passing. Now he needs to address the offensive line, because the Ravens can. Unfortunately, he's going to make some business decisions, and we'll get into that more in a future episode. Like I said, with Sean Spencer and Nick Rosario. The Bears hired Mr. Ryan Poles as their new GM of the Chicago Bears. I like the hire because he definitely was an instrumental piece in drafting Patrick Mahomes and building that dynasty to what it is today. The Bears definitely got some questions that need to be asked. Some questions for the Bears. You got Justin Fields. What's that defense going to look like? Do you keep Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mackey's? Some guys going to get paid as well. Can't think of the outside linebacker.
Who, for the Bears?
Yeah.
Isn't that Hicks?
Not Hicks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He I think he's going to the Pro Bowl, I think, too.
Lally, who's the outside linebacker for you guys?
Brian Flores should be their coach. I agree. Greg Roman should be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, Nick and I have a little bet going. He bet me that his team would finish higher than my team.
The Chicago the Bears have a couple of things. First they got to fix the receiving core. Because I don't know what they're going to do about Allen Robinson. I'm a fan of Darnell Mooney. That boy can play. I like Cole Kmet. Their running game, they got 17 running backs.
Montgomery, if healthy, is legit. Shout out to Tariq Cohen. Hopefully he can come back. Obviously, he was dealing with injury and his brother passing, or actually his brother passing this past year. So they have
Who's it again? I'm sorry.
Tariq Cohen.
Oh, his brother. That's right. His brother did pass.
His brother passed. But they got to address that O-line. You've got to protect your investment. Justin Fields is the guy. You need to protect him. Delilah, you know this. I'm not saying anything you don't know, but I think they need to definitely focus on making sure that line is legit and shored up so that he's not taking these shots, man. Justin Fields took some shots this past season.
Yeah, he did. I like the pick. I like the pickup of Tevin Jenkins. I think that was a good pick. We just had
he was hurt. Yeah, he was hurt. So you got to keep these guys healthy.
Raquan Smith. They're going to think about paying him.
Yeah. Robert Quinn too.
Robert Quinn. Yeah, they got to think about some guys you want to pay. Yes. So, I mean, that's pretty much around the NFL news. Other than that,
right on time. Because I'm getting the producers in the ear. My people.
So yeah, I mean we're going to transition. Thank you, Sean, for joining me. I really appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, like I said, we'll have Sean back on another episode when the NFL probably before the Super Bowl. So stay tuned.
And check out my guy Nathan Snell, one of the hosts of Let's Talk Football Sunday.
Yes,
Sundays previewing all the games. We will have a special one for you this week, previewing the NFC and AFC championship games. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely check it out.
And
Sean is being one of the ladies this week.
I will be on. I'm not wearing a wig. Kat will be with me, so I will definitely be on joining the ladies in a groundbreaking event.
Yes, definitely tune in for that, ladies and gentlemen. Check the ladies out. Let's Talk Football. Ladies take over. Washington Football Weekly is coming on. Maybe tomorrow, depending on the schedule with everybody. But definitely check these guys out. Great football content, great people. Listen, these guys have pushed me to be great. And yes, I feel really blessed to be a part of a great community. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. All right, partner.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, sir.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's transition. Yes, thank you, Delilah. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm going to transition to Major League Baseball. We're now with day 54 of the strike. So there was a little progress. The Major League Baseball dropped arbitration cuts after holds on free agents. There was some significant progress made. As far as the proposal to cut revenue sharing, Major League Baseball rejected the union's push for $30 million cut in revenue sharing. So that's not going to change. The Players Association wants $100 million of that to be cut, but that's not happening. There seems to be some progress. I'm kind of scared because the way it's looking, like I don't know. Like they allowed players to get the free agency. They withdrew the proposal to allow players after 6 years to get in the free agency. But other than that, I mean, I think they're supposed to meet actually again, I think either tomorrow or Thursday. So I know they met today or Tuesday. So we will see. But we're starting to cut it close because spring training, pitchers and catchers are going to report soon as well. In other news, the 22 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot has finally been revealed. So let's make sure we have that. With that being said, congratulations to obviously Mr. David Ortiz. He was the only player to be voted into this year's Hall of Fame. He got 78 77.9, 78% of the votes. It will be one of 6 guys that are going into the Hall of Fame. He will be voted in by the Golden Days and Early Baseball Era committees: Jim Catt, Tony Oliva, Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Minnie Minoso, and Buck O'Neil. The ceremony will be on the 24th of July, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, I'm sorry for those that wanted Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame, but Barry Bonds, his final year on the ballot, 66% of the vote. Roger Clemens, 65%. Scott Rowland, 63%. Kurt Schilling, 58%. Todd Helton, 52%. Billy Wagner, 51%. Andrew Jones, 41%. Gary Sheffield, 40%. Alex Rodriguez, 34%. Jeff Kent, 32%. I'll run up to 38%, 33%. Manny Ramirez, 29%. Omar Vizquel had 24%. Sammy Sosa this is also his final year on the ballot, had 18.5% of the votes. Andy Pettit had 10%. Jimmy Rollins, he was my sleeper to get inducted, had only 37 votes. The lowest votes, Jake Pete was Prince Fielder and AJ Przinski had 2 votes. Carl Crawford and Jake Peavy didn't receive any votes. I'm shocked. I would have some thought Kurt Schilling would have been in there, but I think because of Kurt Schilling and I think some of the comments that he has said over the years, I think that's what's kind of kept him out of the hall. Billy Wagner, other than Trevor Hoffman and Mariano Rivera, I think was a solid closer for the Astros and the Mets. Todd Helton, I think to play for that many years in the Mile High City, I think that kind of gets taken away. I think people somewhat I feel like people discredit that. He was the face of their franchise for that many years to come. I think they need to revamp the voting process. These voters act like the gatekeepers at the gate. I want to address that comment. I hear you, but I'm going to disagree. I think we kind of have to understand this. Major League Baseball is not a victim in this. They benefited off guys like Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds, the steroid era. After the 94 strike, let's keep it real, baseball wasn't the same. And when I feel like Major League Baseball turned a blind eye, and when it got out of hand, that's when shit really hit the fan. Excuse my language. I personally think that when you look, because what's the true message we're sending? It's okay to cheat your way into the Hall of Fame. Like, it's one thing if you were it's different if you were, hit guys like intentionally. What's another when you're taking a performance-enhancing drug to elevate your game? Like, what does that say to the younger generation of guys that want to play the game of baseball? What does that say? Are we what's the message? Like, let's keep it real. Barry Bonds is not the home run king. The true home run king is he's a hold on. Let me make sure I have his name right. His name is Sadara O. He has the most home runs of baseball, whether it's Major League Baseball or Japanese baseball. He has over 868 home runs. And then also, too, like Josh Gibson, we don't really talk about, the greatest of Josh Gibson. Like, he could have hit 800 home runs in his career during the time when he was when he was in the Negro Leagues. I thought it was fair. Same thing with Roger Clemens. I also too, like, let's keep it real. Like, I'm not going to get in, and they're punishing the very guys that lined their pockets, because I think I don't understand that. But again, and I should have said this earlier when we were talking about Antonio Brown. When do we just start saying, "Hey, you know what? I need to take accountability for what I did, and I apologize if I hurt the fans and different things like that." To me, that matters. It's just accountability. I don't. Major League Baseball is not a victim in this, because they benefited off those guys, but also too, a Pandora's box was open, and I think if people really, I don't know. I mean, Gary Sheffield, I was surprised he didn't get in the Hall of Fame. He's got over 500 home runs. Andrew Jones, those years, I think if he had left Atlanta, I think he would have had 500 home runs if he did not leave.
Guaranteed.
Omar Vizquel, I believe. Let me look. I think he has 3,000 hits. I was surprised he didn't get in the Hall of Fame. I was very surprised. He has a 2,877, 11-time Gold Glover. I don't understand that. Jimmy Rollins, I was surprised. He would have been another one. But these other guys, man, Ted Hudson, Joe Nathan, no. So, as David Ortiz is the only guy going into the Hall of Fame, Big Papi. I know somebody in that Minnesota Twins organization said, "Wow, we should have never cut that guy." Congratulations to Big Papi David Ortiz. I don't know. He could have taken something too. We don't know. I mean, I'd say honestly and truthfully, that whole era, Mike Piazza, Ken Griffey Jr., and Frank Thomas were the three best players in baseball.
Guaranteed.
But it's not just now, Pete Rose, I agree. Now, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, in my personal opinion, just like Shoeless Joe Jackson should be in the Hall of Fame. But these other guys, there are other guys that should be in that didn't have those black marks. They're saying should not be, and that for some reason the committee won't vote in. I think some of it's politics, and also too, I think you got to also kind of look at the players. Pete Rose, Pete Rose knew it was legal to gamble as a manager. He knew that. He knew the rules. And that's what I mean. All these candidates, and they voted in one player. No disrespect, Justin Morneau was a good first baseman, but 247 home runs, that's not Hall of Fame numbers. Prince Fielder, just for the record, if Prince Fielder doesn't retire because of his neck injury, Prince Fielder is a 500 home run hitter.
Guaranteed.
I mean, AJ Pierzynski was a good catcher. Let me look really quick. I mean, he's got over 2,000 hits. I mean, a two-time All-Star, World Series champion, a Silver Slugger. Like I said, Jimmy Rollins would have been a good pick. Jeff Kent, I think arguably was probably the best second baseman of his time. You can make an argument. To me, he drove in 90 or more runs from 97 to 05. He is an all-time leading hitting a home run as among second baseman with 377. So, I mean, though that can't That can't be ignored. Andrew Jones. I said and Scott Rowland too. I think he should have gotten in there. Todd Helton, Wagner, Jones, Sheffield. They'd have got my vote. But I do think there are writers. I will concede this point. There are writers and baseball writers that act like they're gods and think that they are all that. Well, if it wasn't for this guy, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have the career that he has today. I will concede that point. Some of those guys definitely have to check their ego. So congratulations to David Ortiz. I feel bad for Billy Wagner, Helton, Scott Rowland, Kurt Schilling should get in the Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent, Omar Vizquel, but these other guys that were on this list. Great baseball players. Me growing up watching, great baseball players, not Hall of Fame. That's just me. Let's painfully transition to basketball. Timestamp. 1:30. Okay. Let's painfully transition. The Washington Wizards got shellacked. Oh, my Lord. Where do I begin? We got embarrassed in Boston. 116-87. We suck, ladies and gentlemen. We really, really suck. I don't know. Hold on. I don't know baseball like I know football, but I would assume that not anybody just gets nominated. No, I think when you're eligible, I think to meet I've always thought that the criteria is you got to have a certain amount of numbers. I felt like 500 home runs or 3,000 hits was always the limit. It was always the not the limit, the mark. And some of those guys like Gary Sheffield that's over 500 home runs, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Some of those guys have like under 300 wins. I think like Mark Burley, for example, has like 200 something wins. Armand Vizquel has almost 3,000 hits. And I've heard that, and that there are some sports writers that will actively campaign against folks that are on the list, which again is BS. Anthony, I agree. You're preaching to the choir. You are, but I'm just me. I just would not vote Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez or Sammy Sosa and them in the Hall of Fame. I just wouldn't. And again, I'm not discrediting Major League Baseball. There are no saints in this neither. They benefited off those guys, and they knew the road they were going down, and now it's rearing its ugly head. But let me get back to basketball as we let Jason Tatum drop a 50-piece on us.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Utterly ridiculous. Another night where collectively for the Wizards, we were bad. We didn't take a lead in this game at all. Most practically throughout the game, particularly in the first half, we were down double digits. We brought it down most of the time. We were held to under 33% shooting in the first half, and as a seen as the whole game, under was about 35.5%. Again, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it with the Wizards. I've been on the record that some trades need to happen because there's some guys. I don't know if it's the system. I don't know. And we can make this excuse of, well, it's a first-year coach. They're adjusting. He's adjusting. When a coach comes out and says, I have to dumb down the playbooks, come on now. Like, these guys have been in the league. These guys should have already adjusted by now. Like, we can't keep making excuses. Like, let me really quick just pull up the standings for the Wizards because, again, I'm going to keep referencing it. We were, at one point, first place. If the playoffs started today, the Washington Wizards would not have made the playoffs.
What the hell was that? I'm pissed off. Get it together. Y'all look like trash.
And they look like trash. I mean, Bradley Beal, we're 4 years into that Bradley Beal era. I mean, Bradley Beal had 19 points and 7 assists in this game, but it was a meaningless 19 points. Again, shooting threes were horrible. We were 8 of 33 in that game. Boston was 19 out of 39. We had no sense of urgency. We just looked flat out weak. And then painfully tonight we played the Los Angeles Clippers. No Paul George, no Kawhi Leonard, and blew a 35-point lead.
That's how I feel. Damn sick and tired of getting out rebounded. 25 offensive rebounds. First time we block out, we get called for a damn block out. We're pushing people. Meanwhile, they're on the other court grabbing rebounds, going over the top and grabbing them. We get one offensive rebound, the other get called for over the back. We don't block out very damn well, and we're not getting called, one or the other. That's where I'm frustrated. That's where my whole frustration comes in, offensive rebounds. The entire thing came down to offensive rebound. They got every stinking offensive rebound, and we didn't get one of them. What else do you want to know?
Shout out to Coach Barset. I know that clip may sound irrelevant, but that's how I felt. To watch them blow a 35-point lead. This has to be arguably probably the most horrible performance I ever saw as a Wizard fan.
So when are we going to say something about it? You know what? I'm going to walk away. I'll be right back because I'm scared I'm going to say something that might get me in trouble because I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Where do I begin? Well, also, Marcus Morris did not play in this game as well. Maurice, I want to give my thoughts and prayers to Mo Brown, who is a member of the NBC Sports of Washington, also the Monumental Sports family. He passed away, so I give my thoughts and prayers to him, to his family. Where do I begin? We were up 22. I'll start from the second quarter. We were up 22 without Bradley Beal. But the fact that we let guys like Luke Kennard come off the bench with 25 points, that's awful. Like, they scored. I mean, we're not missing defensive assignments. I mean, we just. Wow. Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I said, oh boy, I was pretty upset. Well, I don't know. You can't defend blowing a 35-point lead. You just can't. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Oh my God. Let me look at this box score real quick. I'm pulling up the box score right now, y'all. Oh my God. Amir Coffey had 29 points. You had someone named Isaiah Hurstenstein had 16. Terrence Mann had 16. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had 6 Wizards in double-digit scoring. Like, going into the third quarter was 93-76. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this game's in the bag, so I'm just going to continue just to see. Kind of to see what they're going to do with that lead. Then, with about 5 minutes to go, 102-91. And then for some unknown reason, with like 11 seconds left in the game should have been over because the score was 105, 109, 11 seconds left. So what ended up happening was, I'm going to break that down, okay? So hoping that there was going to be a 5-second violation with about, less than 10 seconds. They fouled Luke Kennard, who got an and one. That was the first mistake. And then on top of that, defensively, once again, like I don't understand some of the assignments. Guys are not switching on defense. Guys are coming over to help certain guys when they don't need help. This team, I think I didn't see it all. I'm not jumping off the Wizards because I love this team, but that was horrible. That was pretty bad. Like, how can you defend a 35-point lead being blown? You can't defend that. I mean, he scored 7 points. Luke Kennard, 7 points in 9 seconds. We're supposed to be this defense first team. We're supposed to be this 3-point shooting team. I didn't see that. I saw a team take their foot off the gas and let a team that didn't have 2 of their best players, and they practiced, and they looked like the Los Angeles Clippers was out there who won the national championship. That's what it looked like. The Wizards should be ashamed of themselves. They should be embarrassed. I don't know how the hell you're going to wake up tomorrow, because I already know right now they're not going to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. I just don't see it. I said it. The Wizards, Dinwiddie, great player. Got to go. Not a point guard. That 3-man center rotation does not work. They need another shooter, a guy that can space the floor. This team, after now what? 48 games. We're now at the halfway mark, y'all. We're getting close. Come on now. You know what? The Memphis Grizzlies are beating the Washington Wizards Friday 120-100.
Guaranteed.
Let's transition to NBA news, because the more I talk about them, I'm going to blow it. I'm going to lose it. Anthony Davis came back after missing some national time with injury. They beat the Nets. There was some rumors talking about a John Wall trade for Russell Westbrook. Don't see that really happening. Gonzaga, they have said John Stockton cannot come to the games because he's violated the mask protocol, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went all on him, and also to Detlef Schrempf. He said because he refuses to comply with the school's COVID-19 mask mandate. So, and he's had his opinions on the whole thing, but yeah, I'm hoping that they come to some agreement. And I like John Stockton, great little point guard, but that's tough. James Harden, I kind of see him moving on from Brooklyn. I think from what I read, he's not really feeling the fact that Kyrie's part-time. I think the biggest thing is what you're going to trade him for, who's going to trade what for him. I think a lot of it's going to be money. So we'll see. And I kind of figured the dominoes were starting to fall because, again, Kyrie did get those guys there, and look how that's worked. Ben Simmons, I'm hoping that he's traded soon, because that's not looking really – that's kind of been – maybe kind of bobbing and weaving with that one for a while. The Phoenix Suns, they signed James Jones to an extension. He was the general manager of the year. He's definitely been a fundamental piece in building that team. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year, and it looks like they're on pace to get there again. So, Jackson Hayes, he was charged with domestic violence and battery against the police in connection with the police against a police officer back in July. So he was formally charged. He was charged with 12 misdemeanor counts in total, 3 counts of corporal injury, inflicting corporal injury to a spouse, and 2 counts of domestic battery, 1 against the officer, and 1 count of false imprisonment, and 3 counts of vandalism, 1 count of aggravated trespassing, and 1 count of aggravated assault. So far, I mean, he's not doing too bad. He's coming off the bench. He's averaging about 7 points and about 3.5 rebounds a game. So I'm hoping that they get that situated with him. So Jackson Hayes is a good little ball player coming out of college. So I mean, again, this is a learn and grow moment, and I hope he, definitely situation will get handled. But let's transition to college basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start this segment off with a little something different. There's somebody that broke a record in women's basketball. If you don't know her, Ayoka Lee dropped 61 points against ranked number 14 Oklahoma. The final score was 94-65. Couple things. The lineup for Oklahoma outscored her by 4 points. I had to look back at the box score. She was 23 of 20. The rest of the Wildcats, that's the name of the team, was 10 of 35. She outscored the Oklahoma Sooners in the paint by herself by 20, 44-24, because 22 of her 23 buckets in the paint. She had turned the ball over and had no assists. By halftime, she had 32, 17 in the third quarter. Okay. She's taken the most shots in her career, and none were 3-point, and no 3-pointers. Wow. Congratulations. She's said that she wants to stay and finish school and finish out her college career. I saw the game. It was really good. It just looked one side. They had no answers for her. They really had. I was just really disappointed in that kind of performance. I actually kind of moved Oklahoma out the top 20, about the top 15, out top 20 after that performance. Really quick, I also wanted to point this. There was somebody on Twitter, and I did like the comment. Said that they were first to report it first and different things like that. Listen, we are all in some retrospective form where we are all some journalists. We all like to report. But I think when we get personal, we start bashing people, getting personal, different things like that. I think you can cross the line. I think to make fun of saying, the post was very egregious. Practically calling out, ladies in the WNBA and the NCAA. I thought it was very weak. I thought it was very uncalled for, very unprofessional. But that's what happens when people kind of don't get, when attention's not put on them. There was also another basketball player. I want to make sure I have this right. I don't want to missay her name. She goes to Mississippi State. She was a good little basketball player. Where Kia Jackson, who's their top scorer, she decided to enter the transfer portal. Now they're not having the greatest season as of right now. Nikki McCray was there. Well, actually, they're kind of playing decent. We know that they're 2-4 in the SEC. They're 11-7. They've got Nikki McCray was their head coach, and she stepped down because of health reasons. There's a video here on YouTube, and I feel like people say things, and shout out again to Rashard Milligan. People say things just to get a view, get a thumbs up, just to say any old thing. I think too, again, when you attack somebody's character and get personal and say different things like that, it really lets me know that I question. Do you have passion for when you're covering players or covering the game? Are you truly watching the game, or are you just so quick to make a video to get views, or make or put out a tweet or a post just to get views? Like it just amazes me that that's the kind of people we have in today's society. It really does amaze me. Really quick. Because I know we're probably going to go over a couple hours, and that's okay. So congratulations to Miss Lee, Miss Ayoka Lee, as she dropped 61 points. Let's get into Maryland basketball. The Maryland Terps upset the Illinois. Final score was 81-65. That was probably one of the best games I've seen. Offensively, they looked a lot better. They were more aggressive attacking the basket. It looked more again. Illinois' defense did not look spectacular all game. Again, that's why I think the offense starts in the paint. They were 7-9, which is 78%. Eric Ayala and Dante Scott. The offense just opened up. They both combined for 14 of their first 20 points of the game. They both had 17 at the end. But again, I just think they got to be efficient on offense. I think if they're efficient on offense, especially in the paint, because they outscored in that first half, it was like 40, maybe like 4, like in the first half, it was like something like 40 of like 81 points in the paint. Okay. Now, in the second half, they shot 54%. I think, again, I'm just give it time and the adjustments and different things like that. Now, against a conference opponent, they actually looked better. Again, since the 12th of January, we played Northwestern, which was, I was on the edge of my seat for that one. And then on top of that, when because we had the lead, it was 72-66, and we blew that lead, and then it took 2 overtimes to win that game. But in the second half of against Iowa, Rutgers, Wisconsin, and we also played Illinois as well. In the second half, we were not a good team. We really collapsed. I don't know what it was. Now, they didn't have Kofi Cockburn, which was, to me, a big piece of the puzzle. Now, he was, according to what I read, he was in concussion protocol because he got hurt against Purdue, and he didn't play. Big win. Truly, it was a big win. I'm happy. Much needed. I cannot stress that enough. This was Saturday's game. So I'm really, really, really proud. They look better. They really did. Shout out to the fellas, man. Let's transition to Rutgers. Tonight we won. We beat the Scarlet Knights 68-60. Again, it's the little things that I'm talking about that make a big difference. I'm talking about keeping their best player in check. Ron Harper Jr., the last time we saw them, which was 2 weeks ago, he had 31 points. This time, he had 16 points. And shout out to Hakeem Hart. He locked him down. He did. Okay. The shooting is getting better. I'll say that. But they were 12 of 25 from three. That's 48%. That's Russell and Eric Ayala had 5 threes. And again, I just think that, again, efficiency starts in the paint and just making shots, playing defense. And again, look, this was a home game for us, another home game. So you know that energy. So you know that they're bringing the energy at the Xfinity Arena. You know that. Now, the last 3 games, he's definitely he switched the lineups, and I think I feel like that definitely motivated the guys. Now, again, in the first part of the game, the offense was, I think, slowly getting it together. But Rutgers did not have a good shooting game at all. They really didn't. So I'm look, just going to pick it up. We're going to take it game by game. They play Indiana Friday. I'm hoping that is a game to get the girls back. Again, the shooting has to be efficient, consistent 3-point shooting, not struggling in the second half. Be aggressive in the paint. I think those are good things to come. So I'll talk about that game Friday. For the ladies, we played Northwestern. I think this was a much-needed win after getting shellacked by number 8 and number 12 Michigan.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Definitely matters. Definitely matters. And with this win, we're now 9 at home. We could continue to talk about the injuries. Well, if we had this person or this person, they could have made a difference. But with Brenda Freeze back out there, after her father passed, Papa Freeze passed away. They look better. Quick point of order. I had to go back and look at those stats against Michigan and Ohio State. They combined took 43s and only made 14. Against Northwestern, they had 18. 58% on 31 shots. 50% from 3. They shot 13 more threes than Northwestern. Now, Miss Sellers, I really like her game. She only had 15 minutes. She only played 15 minutes. She had 3 threes because she's been coming off the bench. I definitely think she, could provide. She's a spark plug. She in the 19 games, I looked at the stats. She's averaging 8 points a game, 3 rebounds, 40-something assists. And she also has almost 30 steals on the year. And also, too, look, Unselfish. I noticed that the girls weren't selfish. Everybody was getting some touches on the ball. Immaculate passing of the ball. Double. Even the defense to double team and force turnovers. I thought that was key. Particularly getting Andrew Reese, who I think is, to me, a Big Ten Player of the Year candidate, in my opinion. Again, they 24 dime pieces, because I think the most they had 27 against Coppin State, which doesn't count. It does count, but I mean it's against Coppin State. No disrespect. Also, too, that's the first time being in the Big Ten. They've had 20 assists against Penn State and Minnesota, I think it was. I remember that stat correctly. And again, also, too, Ashley Wansu, Diamond Miller, Chloe Bibby, Katie Benson, they all were in double figures. I thought that was key. That's the key to me, I think, is offensively, it starts with the defense first. But if everybody gets it together, like those are things, like I think that's going to get this team going again. Because, again, that second quarter, they didn't look back. And, again, I've noticed that they want to prefer – I don't know. Maybe this is just me. But Maryland definitely has to improve on a three-point defense. Example, Maddie Nolan and Taylor Mikesell torched us shooting threes. They had made 8 threes. They held the Wildcats to 5 of 20. But I definitely think they need that's going to get better. And also, too, they play Penn State Sunday. That's another unranked opponent. So I'll talk about that game on Friday. I'll give my preview for that game Friday and prediction, because we had a couple games I want to talk about as well. So I'm gonna hold that off until Friday. But yeah, man. I mean, other than that, I'm really proud of the men and Lady Terps. They played really well. Really quick, mistakenly, I'm gonna put this up. It's really the women. They play Rutgers Thursday. Let me fix that. I mistakenly did not add WO in that. I apologize. They play Rutgers. They play the Scarlet Knights again on Thursday. I expect the Lady Terps to have a big game the way they've had these last 2 games. I think it starts with getting our bigs involved. But we can't have the kind of game we had against them the last time. If I remember, let me look back at the score. We had lost to them. No, we had beaten them. Actually, we beat them on my birthday. Fun fact. And I just feel like this Maryland team is starting to get it together. And I think the last 2 games, I think really, really set them off, because now with the ranking, the ladies now are within the top there. They moved to 17. They went down 5 spots. Now, I was actually surprised. Oklahoma, there's a couple schools here that I was surprised. Like Ole Miss, Ohio State, and Kansas State and Oregon are in the top 25. My list is pretty much accurate. Now, South Carolina and UConn did not play because South Carolina shot to Don Stanley. They had to make up They had to make up against DePaul. I think that's what it was. I think that's an SEC opponent. So they had to make that game up. and those girls they torched them. So yeah, that was the only thing that didn't happen. But I mean, honestly, too, I think the last two games, I think is a reflection of, and even this win against Northwestern, I think it's a spark to go in the right direction. I think these girls, I'm still sticking with my pick. The Maryland Lady Terps are going to represent us in the Final Four. I'm sticking with that pick. Let me play my clip. Guaranteed. I feel like they have all the pieces, but let's not make any excuses.
Well, what happened? Could have, would have, should have is the difference of what I'm talking about. The good teams don't come in and say could have. They get it done. All right? It's that simple. I'm tired of saying could have, should have, would have. That's why we ain't good enough yet. Because we're saying could have and they ain't.
So I think the Maryland Terrapins are going to beat the Scarlet Knights 85-65. Guaranteed. And I think it's going to get us on the right. It's going to get us in the right direction. So let's transition to Towson Basketball. The men, the last game was Delaware, and they came out with a win against those against Delaware, 69-62. We unfortunately lost in overtime, 77-81 against the University of North Carolina. Congratulations. And the Lady Tigers beat UNC. The final score, 72-49. Unfortunately, we lost to this school, Charleston, 72-88. The next game for the Lady Tigers is Northwestern. That's Friday. It's a home game. And also, too, the next game, we got to play Delaware again for the men. That's a home game for us. For the men, I'm going to say that they're going to get. It's going to be saying around 75-69. Guaranteed. And then for the Lady Tigers, I'm going to say. Hold on, let me look at the Northeastern Huskies. Let's just see. Let's just look at what we are going up against. They're 10-6. They're currently on a 2-game win streak. They are a better home team than they are on the road. Their previous win, they're just coming off a win Sunday against Women Mary, where they won by 10, 67-57. I think it's gonna be a close one. I'm gonna say the Lady Tigers pull it out 79-74. Guaranteed. So that actually should be a good game. So, and again, it's on Flow Hoops. If you have not already, check them out for sure. Let us transition to the WNBA. Free agency has picked up. Not really. I mean, in terms of, I think from what I read on multiple reports, Ricardo is going to go back to Vegas. I think it was a good move. Definitely is a piece to that puzzle in Phoenix. Courtney Williams looks like she's going to go back to Connecticut. Her mid-range game is nothing to sneeze at, which means pretty much Brianne January, if they cut corners, it doesn't look like she's coming back. No, they're going to let her walk. I know they're talking about trying to come up with a long-term deal for Jonquel Jones. I know that she got until February 1st to say if she wants to stay or not, but Jonquel Jones is staying in Connecticut. Guaranteed. So the thought of her coming to DC is not happening.
Relationship with your children.
My God.
What else? I mean, the moves have been just honestly and truthfully slow. Like, no one's really made a move. We're speculating. Is Brianna Stewart, is she leaving Seattle, go to New York? I know she's from New York. It's actually kind of been a slow start. We haven't heard really much about Liz Cambage neither, because she fired her agent. Shout out to Christina when she mentioned that on her Girls Talk Sports on the Spotify Green Room, where she had fired her agent. That was about it. So I know Brianna met with the Liberty. If they sign her, you got Benijah Laney, Sabrina Ionescu, Natasha Howard, Sammy Wickham, Dee Richards, Michaela Oyeware, Rashonda Gray, and like, oh my gosh, like that team is winning the finals. In my opinion, I'm not going to play the guarantee button on that. That's about it. I mean, as of the free agency started on the 15th. They got until February 1st. Haven't really heard much. Other than that, it's just been really quiet. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, few days. So I think by the first, I think everybody knows where they're going to go, and I can already see Tina Charles not coming back. I don't know. And also too, they like Maisha Hines Allen has interest, I think, in a few other teams that's not the Mystics, and I'm scared about that. So see what happens February 1st. This will be my second to last topic of the evening. The Athletes Unlimited Basketball, women's basketball had their draft Sunday. It was really good. Their first games are starting tomorrow. Well, it's actually already tomorrow. If you're still on the East, if you're still on the West Coast, it's 10 o'clock. So the first game comes at 8 o'clock. It's going to be on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the 11 o'clock game is going to be on CBS Sports. So I'm going to definitely be tuned in for that. Now, they had the draft. I'm just going to recap who it was. So how it is, there's each week, there's different team captains. And for the first week, you had Kelsey Mitchell, Mercedes Russell, Odyssey Sims, and Dejanay Carrington. Kelsey Mitchell represented Team Gold. Mercedes Russell's represented Team Orange. Odyssey Sims represented Team Blue, and Dejanay Carrington she represented Team Purple. So I'm just going to start off by who they drafted. I know this I may be long-winded with it, but that's okay. So Kelsey Mitchell's first pick was Tiana Hawkins. Not surprised by that. Tiana Hawkins is a good three-point shooter and is also a good wing defender, in my opinion. Then her second pick was Courtney Williams, Sydney Colston, Imani McGee-Stafford, Danielle L. McCray, Jessica Custer, Akilah Mays, Hearn, Antoinette Thompson, and Rebecca Harris. Mercedes Russell, her first pick was Tage Cole, Lauren Mincy, Danny McCray, Lexi Brown, Nikki Green, Lauren Manis, Antoinette Bannister, Chelsea Phillips, Cece Andrews, and Takora Larry. Odyssey Sims' team, her first pick was Kalani Brown. Kiki Herbie Harrigan was her second pick. Brianna Jackson, Kirby Buckholder, Essence Carson. Why does he say Carson? Drew Edelman, Becca Wayne Taylor, Grace Hunter, Shannon McCollum, Tina Roy. And Dejanay Carrington's team, her first pick was Isabel Harrison, Natasha Cloud, Jantel Lavender, Destiny Walker, Mimi Jackson, Dominique Wilson, Takara Ross, Brittany Carter, and Major Butler, and her final pick was Team Ty Young. I want to say Team Ty Young. I think out of that draft, Team Mitchell and Team Sims had the best draft.
Guaranteed.
When I looked at Dejanay's team, very guard heavy. She doesn't have a center on her team. I think by like the 5th pick, there wasn't really much. Team Odyssey took 1, 2. She took both centers. She took Drew Edelman and Kalani Brown. Kelsey's team is more balanced. I was a little confused with Mercedes Russell's team. She had Nikki Green. I say the best team, is Kelsey Mitchell's. Then it's Odyssey's. And then wild card is Team Russell. And then my sleeper, is Dejanay's team because her first 3 picks were pretty good. The last 4 picks, she was really, really struggling. So the way the schedule is going to be, it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be Team Russell versus Team Sims. That's going to be on YouTube. And then game 2, Team Carrington versus Team Mitchell. That's going to be on CBS Sports Network. I'm going to say Team Sims beats Team Russell.
Guaranteed.
Team Mitchell beats Team Carrington.
Guaranteed.
And on the 28th, you got Team Russell versus Team Kerrigan. So I'm going to say that game's on the 28th. I'm going to say, well, why not? I'm going to say Team Carrington beats Team Russell.
Guaranteed.
So that's going to be the first week. I'm super excited for this. I really am because I kind of want to see what this looks like. This is like winter ball to me. It's going to be for 5 weeks. So each week it's mixed up, different captains. So I definitely say for the first week, Kelsey Mitchell's team is the best.
Guaranteed.
I know I may have played that one too many times. So that was the draft recap. So with that being said, I'm going to close it out with I'm going to go on a high note. Man, my leg. I'm sorry. I did a presentation for a church that I go to. And the presentation was how to prepare at the plate. I used baseball. I used a baseball reference. And how we should prepare at the plate is how we should prepare ourselves the day, daily. Whether that's however you relationship you have with God, whether that's reading scripture, devotional, just waking up and just praying. I think that's the key. Is just starting your day off by thanking God. When your name, when guys come from the on deck to go to the plate, you hear your name called. Look down the third baseline, and God is just he gives you the signs. He gives you what to do. Take the pitch, hit and run. You got the green light. Sometimes we have to approach the plate smartly. We have to have a scouting report. We have to understand that what's going to be thrown at the plate is obstacles that we all go through in life. And it's not easy as individuals. Everybody has things going on through their lives differently, and we all handle different things, life differently. we have to really, really be smart. And when we attack the plate, when we attack the plate, we can do one of two things. We can look at it from this way. You know, again, back to a baseball reference. There's always this quote, there's always this thing of chicks dig the long ball. Sometimes it ain't about the home run. It's about just getting on base, whether it's a single, double, triple, just getting on base. Sometimes in life, there's going to be strikeouts. The inning is going to change. That's okay. For you know, God tests us in many different ways. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody that obviously suffers from mild depression and is currently getting, is talking with a therapist, trying to build a relationship with God. He's gotten baptized a second time. It's all about, as an individual at the plate, it's how you attack it. Because if all we do is go to that plate and say to ourselves, I'm going to hit a home run today, I'm going to call my shot, and then you strike out swinging or you strike out looking, sometimes it's not about the home, it's not about the sprint. It's about finishing the marathon. Because again, things are going to get thrown at us in life. Sometimes I feel like this is my opinion as a society. We don't take enough time to thank God for the little things that He's done for our lives as individuals. I think we are so quick of, if God just blessed me with a beautiful house and this and this and that, instead of thinking, man, God woke me up today and allowed me to see the other day. God, really helped me through this situation. And without Him, I don't know where I would be today. Sometimes you got to take a time out, step out the box and readjust at the plate. Great example. Kirk Gibson talked about it. He had studied Dennis Eckersley. He knew the pitches. Dennis Eckersley was arguably probably one of the best closers in the game at that time. His pitching repertoire. He knew it. He prepared, he adjusted at the plate. And he hit the game-winning home run in that World Series. Google Kirk Gibson game-winning home run on YouTube. YouTube search it. But my point is that at the plate, be alert, be prepared, and also to be prepared to see what is in front of you. Because there are so many things that I think we forget, that if we just stay true to the word, to His word, stay faithful and stay committed, well, same thing. Good things are bound to happen. We just have to be prepared visually and mentally for it. And I think sometimes we're so quick to wanting to hit the home run, but we swing so early that we've missed the blessing. And really quick, I have the scriptures here. Isaiah 41, 10, the book of Psalms 34, 4 through 5 and 8, Proverbs chapter 3, 5 through 6. Again, also too, we got to learn at the plate, there's going to be times we're going to strike out or we're going to fly out or whatever, or get ground to double play. Another baseball. What I'm really trying to say is keep your head up. There's going to be curveballs thrown at us in life. But it's how we as Christians or whatever you may who you follow, it's how as individuals you bounce back from it. It's all about memory muscle and having kind of the memory of a goldfish. Because if you just every time look back and don't keep your eye on the prize and stay focused, you're going to lose sight of it. And we have to be reminded of that. Like, I'll be honest, starting this podcast, really starting this whole YouTube channel, could not have been done by people, friends, family pushing me to say, hey, you have a gift. You're pursuing a bachelor's degree in mass communication and journalism. This is your calling. Like, to reach 100 subscribers within what, 2 years of making content, I would not think that's possible. There were times where, I'll be honest, at the beginning of the pandemic, like, nah, I don't think I can make videos. I don't think I can do this. It's all about keeping your head up and paying attention and looking down that third baseline, and God gives us answers to the test. It's what we do. We can't lose sight. We can't lose focus. Can't lose sight. We can't lose focus of the blessing that is coming your way, my way. It is coming, and we just have to just be reminded of that. So I just encourage you guys to just stay committed, stay faithful, stay blessed up, stay prayed up, and good things are bound to happen, man. If no one else has told you that, I'm here to tell you that good things are bound to happen for you, for me, for the next person, and just continue just to spread love and continue to spread the gospel, because really I'm a testament. I'll be honest, I don't like to really talk about it. I'm not really comfortable talking about it, but I had thoughts of committing suicide because of things that happened mentally in my life that I want to keep personal, with all due respect. But if it wasn't for friends and family to say, hey, let's figure this out together. And ever since going to church and then getting baptized a second time, it's been just amazing wonders to see what God has done for me. And it's just about how I have been at the plate. Now listen, I'm not a perfect hitter at the plate. Don't get me wrong, but it's how we adjust and it's how we prepare. How we adjust at the plate, and at the next at bat, how we prepare. What did we take away from the previous at bat to go into the next at bat? That's the kind of mentality that we got to have, because when we have that mentality, we will never lose sight. We will never lose focus of our true calling and what God has in store for each and every one of us. So I just want to just leave it off with that. I'm trying not to get emotional, but that's my little testimony. I do have another clip I'm going to play that Friday. It was really good. Shout out to Sean Spence and Janae Struther. But that was just me. I just want to get my 2 cents on that, man. Just continue just to thank God for the little things, man. It's not about the home run. It's about, just getting on base and just one at bat at a time. Finishing the sprint, not the marathon. So yes. Oh, really quick. I should talk this before. Penny Hardaway kind of caught some flack for some comments after he had a post-game tirade after the game. I could understand his frustration with that. I've seen coaches go off like that. I just think it's just frustrating. they're right now plagued with injuries. They're relying on freshmen right now to kind of carry to step up. I mean, they're 10-8. They're 500 in the AAC. So, me personally, they will get together. Penny, he's putting together something special. Look, my dad always told me this before. You gotta crawl before you walk, and things will get better. But that was my little testimony. Again, this concludes episode 16 of the podcast. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Continue to hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe button. Like, comment, and subscribe along with notification bells on. Also share the podcast. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please suggest different topics for me to talk about in the next episode or future episodes of the podcast. This episode will be published tomorrow because it's now 1:45. I'm going to go to bed. And until then, I will see y'all Friday. Enjoy the rest of y'all work week. Stay safe out here, y'all. With that being said, I'm out. Peace. Stay up.
Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.